The teams stood 10 metres apart and the Kiwis went towards Australia. They intimidated them. And, well, tonight they look like they're 20 metres away, and perhaps they won't do the walk. Perhaps they will. The Aussies line up in a straight line, and the Kiwis, they prepare for the haka. This is where the gauntlet will be thrown down to the green and gold. Isaac Luke leading the haka. Walk them down tonight. The Aussies clapping them, or are they just geeing themselves up for the battle to come? And what a battle it might well be. They met in that Anzac Test in May. It was 38-10 to Australia. Steve Ganson is the man in the middle tonight. In the World Cup final, he was the video referee. And you will all remember, I'm sure, the penalty try that he gave in New Zealand's favour that really did tip the balance for the Kiwis on that never-to-be-forgotten night in Brisbane.
OK, tell us when the pitch is clear, lads.
2 wins against Australia, as I say, in the last 4 years, producing trophies. They claim close to a 3rd trophy in 2006 in the Tri-Nations, only losing to Australia in extra time. Darren Lockyer, the difference on that occasion. There's the only Super League representative in this Kiwi squad, Thomas Luluai of the Wigan Warriors. We are underway. The Australians get us in motion. The ball will go over the dead ball line. The Kiwis have given themselves up. I think actually it was taken over the dead ball line by Fui Moi Moi. He didn't have a chance, did he?
No, he tried his damnedest. Even if he'd gone over, he'd still have had to drop out from underneath the sticks, and this is not the start that the Kiwis wanted.
It's the best kick-off I've seen all season, Eddie. Just goes to show the skill level of here Australia. Even to start a match, they kick off and put their opponents under pressure.
Here's Billy Slater. Now it's Petros Sivanasiva, and he will drive the ball in on this first tackle. Should be the New Zealanders running the ball at the Australians. It's the other way round, as the figure of Ben Hannant on his debut, 24 years of age from the Canterbury Bulldogs club, takes it up for tackle number 2. Here's Thurston. Now the runner, it's the loose forward, and it is Anthony Watmoe. Cameron Smith waits at dummy half. Thurston is there. The runner on his inside was Hoffman. Hoffman plays the ball to Cameron Smith. There's Justin Thurston. Here is Lockyer. He pops the ball back. That's a good hit. Went backwards, and is it a 6 to go? No, it's on the last tackle, says Steve Ganson. They lost a bit of momentum there, the Aussies, but here is Thurston. He'll stab the kick in, and it's well collected. I think that's the fullback, Lance Ohaya, over there to make sure that there's no further progress for the Australians, that opening set of 6.
But typical Australian play, wasn't it? Big, strong work from the forwards, and then the kick into the corner, and they are very keen. Their defence is pretty solid. The Australian coach, Tim Sheens, has been working very hard in that department. They will not allow New Zealand any room to move at all.
New Zealand with ball in hand for the first time tonight. Great defence. Oh, but so good that Hannant is able to drop on the loose ball. The New Zealanders just could not keep hold of it. And here is Cameron Smith. He finds Thurston, and it's Hoffman again. Ball is moved across the line. Petros Sivanasiva once more. He'll take it forward up the middle.
Stephen Kearney, the Kiwi coach, will be very disappointed with that. Why on earth do you want to try to offload when you're in your own quarter?
Here's Thurston. Here once again is Ryan Hoffman. Ball bounces and goes backwards. No, it's a knock-on, says Steve Ganson, the match referee. New Zealand survived, but only just.
Certainly was. It looked as though it might have been a touch too high there. Nathan Fien really put his body on the line.
And just look at Cameron Smith here. He knows that he bounces the ball 2 or 3 times. It's got every chance to go high in the air, above Moi Moi, ball back to Australia.
Well, Tim Sheens will be pretty pleased with the kick-off, and as normally in any international, the forwards just want to try to show their dominance, try to get over the top. But that was a pretty big hit, though, from a little scrum half, Nathan Fien. Didn't surprise me either that Stephen Kearney, at the very last moment, has switched Thomas Luluwai to come and start this game. Remember, the switch between Nathan Fien and Thomas Luluwai was so successful in the World Cup last year.
Penalty goes New Zealand's way.
That's a relieving penalty, isn't it, it's a relieving penalty for New Zealand, who've been under a bit of pressure here for the first couple of minutes when you consider they made a mistake from the kick-off, then they turn a ball over on tackle 4. Australia probably didn't make enough of the opportunity there, but it is early in the game. Both sides are very fresh. One thing you do note with both teams is the physicality in defence. Both sides prepared to get off the line. There's plenty of whack in it. There's 3 guys into a tackle. They're trying to slow it down as best as they can. It's probably going to be a question of who can keep that up for as long as the longer they can in the game. Try to create a fatigue factor in the opposition side, and then capitalise on some opportunities.
Thurston with the tackle, it was on Bronson Harrison. Here's Moi Moi, great run from him, right over the top of Cameron Smith, and another penalty.
Holding down, but the size of this Moi Moi, look at this, get out of the way, absolutely superb, and that is what the Kiwis will be looking for throughout this game. Interested observer, of course, a win for England last night against
Tony
a spirited
Smith.
French side.
Yes, Tony Smith, the England coach, watching on. Here comes Luluwai, and he just pops the ball up there for Junior Sao, the man from the Newcastle Knights, 22 years of age, on his second appearance for the Kiwis. That's Nathan Fien. It's great hands. They are in, the world champions, with Nu'uausala. Frank Paul Nu'uausala from the Roosters gets his first try for New Zealand. He made his debut against Tonga last week. One of the best young props in the NRL. They finished bottom of the table, did the Sydney Roosters, but Nu'uausala was one of the standout figures for them, and he's certainly one of the standout figures here early, because after an awful start, the Kiwis draw first blood.
And it came about by the penalty given away, just Harrison trying to keep him down. It was Jonathan Thurston that held down the big fella, and Moi Moi set him up, and it was a beautiful pass, wasn't it? The big fella was never going to be stopped. They were very upset by the fact that they were not being classified as the favourites, the Kiwis, despite being the world champions. Australia, the bookies say, are still the favourites for this competition, but what a superb combination. The pass from Adam Blair was out of this world. Sensational stuff.
So Bryson Godwin here with the conversion attempt, and he adds the extras. 6-0 the Kiwis. Barry.
Eddie, all the pre-match has been about Australia, about how skillful they are. 1-7, they're as good as it gets. But what you can't contend with is the power that New Zealand have got. Very physical. Moi Moi makes the mistake, and his charge puts the field position for New Zealand to score.
Great driving run from Nu'uausala.
The offload, Eddie, was absolutely superb. It came at the right moment. The loose forward, Adam Blair, just jinked it, just put it forward. Take it, he says, and there was no way in the world they're going to take it. Oh, he just mishandled that.
What we saw was a feature. Here's another penalty. A feature of New Zealand's success in the World Cup, Eddie, was their ability when they got close to Australia's try line to score. The last try came from a penalty try. That was the sequence. We've just seen 2 penalties again here. Deep kickoff, juggled by Marshall. And then the penalty firstly on Moi Moi for a high tackle, followed up with a second one for dissent. And that helps to give New Zealand the field position they'll need if they want to post more points.
4-0 the penalty count in the Kiwis' favour. Jared Hayne, the latest transgressor. Steve Ganson is making his mark on this match very early in the piece. Here's the try scorer, Nu'uausala. He's right on the halfway line as he plays it to Luluwai. Fui Moi Moi will drive it in once again. The Eels won 10 of 11 at the end of the year to make the grand final in Australia. Moi Moi was one of the stars, and here is Adam Blair. Adam Blair in the blue boots, he plays it there to O'Hire, and O'Hire is taking it at them. The ball is out wide and all along the deck, and Sam Perrott just simply could not take that particular pass in. Wasn't the best.
The fullback did very well until it came to the final pass, and he could see that they were just a little bit out of position there. Brett Morris had just sneaked in a little bit from the touchline.
The Kiwis aren't going to go home wondering tonight, are they?
Well, they've started particularly well. They've started on the back of a 4-0 penalty count, which gives meters. Penalties give meters up, and they also enable you to play with a little bit more speed because you've got set after set. The other side's having to defend very, very well. So they've capitalised on that by scoring the first try and putting Australia under plenty of pressure right now.
Here's Petro Civoniceva for the Australians. First try in Test football when he last faced New Zealand in London.
That really could have been picked up as a high shot. OK, he dipped into it, but it was a swinging arm from Moi.
Great hit then from Pritchard. Here's the swinging arm, but Pritchard really got stuck into Hannant, and Thurston with the kick downfield, one for them to chase. Lance O'Hire comes across, picks them up onside, says the referee. Wall of green and goal ahead of him, so he flicks the ball inside. And Australia muscling up in defence. It was Greg Inglis coming in there quickly to help out Ryan Hoffman.
Pretty good work there by the winger Sam Perrott. Realised they're kicking into the corner. They're all going into the right-hand side as Australia attack them. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to just force them to play and keep them in that quarter. But Perrott dropped back ever so quickly.
It's interesting to see that Australia gained 40 metres, Eddie, with that kick. By the time they kicked it and the point on field in which they tackled New Zealand, that's a pretty good return. And over the course of the Four Nations, that's a massively important aspect, kicking and gaining ground at the end of a set.
The thing that's hit me in the opening 9 minutes of this match, if we compare what we saw last night at Doncaster, the speed, the ferocity of the challenge, unbelievable. This is the last tackle, and it's not a charge down, says the referee. That ball played the Australian man. The Australian did not chase it. Here is Billy Slater. He just pops the ball back inside, and this now is Jared Hayne. And Jared Hayne goes down on the first tackle. Civoniceva will take it forward again for the green and gold.
Well, Australia have to just settle down now. They've got to get themselves into a good position. All they've been going for is the kick on the final, play the ball. But it's pretty strong defence as well by the Kiwis.
Trent Waterhouse goes down on the third tackle. They're inside the 20-metre zone. And here is Thurston looking for Lockyer and finds him. Lockyer pops the ball up then to Ryan Hoffman. They're trying the grand final win against Parramatta for the Melbourne Storm. Ryan Hoffman.
They're muscling up though, aren't they, New Zealand, and that's a silly penalty. Yeah,
first
silly
penalty for Australia.
And I think they'll run this. I don't think they'll bother about going for the 2 points. Tim Sheens will send a message out and say, listen, we haven't had much possession.
On the move, call reaction.
Let's get into the swing of it.
There is the Australian coach, the most experienced coach in the NRL of all time. They're just having a bit of a debate about what to do. Cameron Smith decides to run it and gives it to Civoniceva. He gets to within 10 metres, stopped by Waterhouse and Moi. They come down the short side here with Hoffman, and Hoffman drives it in once more.
The New Zealand defence is solid. It's gang tackling. They're really getting in 1, 2, sometimes 4.
It's Hannant again.
And when you do that sort of defence, it makes you wonder, can they keep it up for the full 80?
Smith will fire the pass to Lockyer. Lockyer then gives it to Billy Slater. Can't get away though from the chaser. That was Benji Marshall. Here now is Justin Hodges. And Hodges is held up. Once again, this time by Pritchard.
He knocked on there and he's given a penalty.
Pushing and shoving at the ruck, interference, Australia penalty.
And that is near suicide when you do it on the very last tackle.
Well, that's the 10th, isn't it, now? Because they had 4 in the previous set before they got a penalty. There's another 6 that they've had at that. This will test the aerobic capacity and fitness here now of the Kiwi side.
As Waterhouse drives it in on only a second start for Australia tonight. Cameron Smith gives it to Thurston. Thurston pops it up. Civoniceva! And Australia so close, but the New Zealanders muscling up. Have they got the petrol in the tank to keep them out? Here is Lockyer. Lockyer then finds Slater. Slater fires a long pass wide, and it's the winger Morris on his debut looking for the first try, but is forced into touch, and New Zealand have come here to play.
Certainly have. The defence is very, very solid indeed. I mentioned the fact they're going in as gang tackles. There was 4 men there. Watch him slide quickly, nowhere for him to go. They keep him up. Oh, that is great defence. Stephen Kearney, the Kiwi coach, will be very, very happy with that. Superb stuff, but can they keep this pace up in defence?
Well, it's been frenetic, but when you look at the defence there, I'm not even sure he's gone over the sideline, but you know, the touch judge has ruled on that. But point I was going to make, that type of pass, everyone gets excited about that cutout sort of pass, but it put Brett Morris under enormous pressure, because by the time he caught the ball, that covering defence gets across, and you actually don't have a lot of room to move there. I'm not sure it was the right option, but I think Australia's probably been a bit unlucky the fact that a scrum was awarded.
Don't come up with the ball, mate.
New Zealand then in possession. Met Australia once before in London, Loftus Road 2004, Australia 32-12. Good defence from Australia here.
Was it ever? Anthony Watmough just nearly carved him apart.
4 tackles gone, they're still only 23 metres away from their own line, New Zealand. Nathan Feen. Good run, but halted by the 3-man tackle. There was no way through then for Adam Blair. And they're looking to get the ball to the kicker, Marshall, or are they running it? Well, they're trying to run it. A little dab down the line. The ball bounces very kindly. Must be offside. That's a knock on anyway. I'm sure that Benji Marshall was in front of the second kick then.
Well, it certainly appeared that way, but Steve Ganson said play on. But very adventurous play from the Kiwis. They're not frightened to give it some air. They keep it out wide. 2 very quick passes. They're trying to catch this sliding Australian defence out.
Tim Sheens in the build-up to this match said the Australians' preparation a little bit at 6s and 7s.
Well, he was a bit concerned, Eddie, that he didn't have a build-up game, and maybe he could be ruining the fact because they're a little bit flat at the moment. Oh, it's grabbed
Not standing square. Not standing square at the play the ball.
And it's all brought about by a quick play the ball as well. And you could see that Pritchard had moved away, both sides.
It's an early indication of where Australia think that New Zealand may be vulnerable, Eddie. Around that play of the ball, big men tiring, and the pace of somebody like Billy Slater spearing into one of those holes.
I think it also highlights the great understanding between Cameron Smith and Billy Slater. 2 Melbourne Storm players, seen that play many, many times, seen Billy Slater score tries off that play. And at this stage, they've got an advantage by getting a penalty from the New Zealand team.
Well, it seems to have been all Australia for a wee while, but the Kiwis still leading here 6-0 after a quarter of an hour. That's a great run. That's a tremendous run it was from Watmough. He got the ball away to Inglis. They stopped him. Thurston flashes the ball to the second row forward, Hoffman. And Hoffman is held up. This is great scrambling defence from the Kiwis, this. Cameron Smith waits at dummy half. And Smith straight away off the ground to Thurston. He then finds Lockyer. Lockyer then pops the ball up. And on the charge comes Waterhouse. Trent Waterhouse, good defence again low down. They're going to go to the right-hand side with Thurston.
Slip there.
That's a flop, though. Silly penalty. It was a second man in Adam Blair.
And it was on the 5th. That's the second occasion that New Zealand has done that. They've done all the hard work. It slipped at Thurston. And I suppose he committed himself and really couldn't stop. He's having a wow of a game, Adam Blair. It was a superb pass that put in Noah Sala for the first try.
Thomas Luluai with problems for Stephen Kearney, the New Zealand coach. One of the great players, of course, to come out of New Zealand, and assistant coach at Melbourne. And Luluai, I think the signal will go out that he's okay for the time being, but there's obviously a problem for him.
I think he got himself caught in an awkward position, attempting to make a tackle on Trent Waterhouse. Trent Waterhouse beat about 3 players as he went through, and I think Thomas might have got his head in the wrong position.
Yeah, he couldn't get it on the side. He got a real big whack from the hip.
It's Ben Hannant with the first drive in. Here's Cameron Smith. This now is Lockyer. Lockyer taking them on himself. Darren Lockyer, elusive, but eventually he is collared. And another penalty, this time for a grapple tackle. Well, one thing we were thinking about Steve Ganson is he allows the game to flow. He doesn't blow the pee out of the whistle, but that's the 9th penalty in the opening 16 minutes here. He certainly is stamping his authority on this match.
And to be fair, they were all rewarded.
Here's Hoffman again.
He's not making it up, but how long can this Kiwi defence hold out? Inside switches from the Australians, surely.
Hannon's on the charge. The ball comes back. It's knocked down all over the place. It's a knock-on. Well, they will take great heart from that, the world champions from New Zealand.
Will they have it? I mean, that was unbelievable. Ben Hannon came through. He looked as though he was going to get to it. Try to offload there.
All this on the back of 5 penalties in a row, and New Zealand keep them out.
And I'm not so sure that could be classified as a knock-on. I thought that ball from the prop forward, Hannon, was going backwards.
Okay, boys.
They're just riding their luck slightly, are the Kiwis.
They demonstrated some great bravery there, Eddie, on their own try line. Thomas Luluwile was the man already knocked around his head previously a few minutes ago, went low to stop the Australians from getting over the try line. And a wonderful example of the commitment they're prepared to make at defending that try line.
You know what, Phil? They've just made a conscious decision tonight, the New Zealand side, that no matter what happens, we're going to fly off the line and we're just going to pressure everybody that can cause us problems. This is the sort of thing, though, that you've now got to come up with again. They've got some relief. They turn a ball over. All of a sudden now, do the heads drop? Let's look at the body language in this set of 6.
Nothing wrong with the pass. Frank Pritchard just dropped it.
Yeah, he just had a little look at the defence coming towards him. And
I think that's fatigue as anything else, Steve, do you?
Well, yeah, as I say, I keep mentioning this gang tackling technique. It's good for a while, but it really just takes away the energy.
Well, what happens is sides take a bit of a sigh, don't they? They take a sigh, they relax a little bit.
Here's Lockyer. Now Slater. Slater goes inside. And a tackle needed by Ohio. There's another penalty.
Well, he's got to talk to the captain now.
I think the referee, Steve Ganson, will call the Australian captain, Benji Marshall, to him. The New Zealand skipper, Benji Marshall, it's the 6th penalty in a row that his team have conceded.
From a good start, we've ended up where with second efforts like that when the man's clearly through. Don't want no more of it. I'm going to leave it with you.
Yeah, no worries. Can we just have a bit more confidence?
Yeah. Next time. Okay, mate. Yeah. Okay, mate. Next time I'll call you over. It'll be something more formal.
Can I talk to the boys?
Talk to the boys, yeah.
You know what? He's buying time here now, isn't he, with his team? They've had a minute's rest there, which has certainly benefited New Zealand.
That's a tough one for the referee because you have to give a warning, but really there's a thought process in the game where say, well, don't do it there because the attacking side is disadvantaged.
This is Brett White. He postponed his wedding to come on this tour, the Australian prop forward. He plays the ball to Cameron Smith. Thurston. It's Hoffman again. Sensational scrambling defence from New Zealand so far, and since they scored, they seem to have been on the back foot and defending their own line. There's Cameron Smith again. He finds Thurston, and Thurston pops it up. Oh, what a hit! Waria Hargreaves on Sam Tide. Here is Thurston. It's Lockyer. Lockyer bounces off one would-be challenger. Bang again! Waria Hargreaves in. The Kiwis on their feet behind that set of posts.
It's like dynamite out there.
Kick to the in goal. It's a goal line dropout. They're going to get more pressure on this line. How are New Zealand holding out?
I don't know. Unbelievable. Stephen Kearney must be shaking his head. It was a beautiful kick through, wasn't it? Wonderful stuff there. He did well. Waria Hargreaves, and must say, the 2 hits that he's produced already.
Come on, boys. Come on.
He's made his presence felt very quickly indeed.
This match being watched by a really good crowd here, and there's a young lady, 78 years of age. She's travelled all the way over from Australia for this match, all the way from Manly to see the green and gold. And this is more pressure on the Kiwis line. Tide with the first drive in. Here is Lockyer. Billy Slater takes over. They find Greg Inglis. Greg Inglis really holds that ball in one hand and he tries to fend the would-be tacklers off. Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith looks for Thurston and finds him. He gets it then to Lockyer. That's on obstruction.
That was poor play. Total confusion there by the skipper, Darren Lockyer.
That's a relieving penalty for the Kiwis, all right.
Certainly is, and they won't be rushing it either. Thurston, and you can see that the big fella run straight in him, gave himself away.
Sam Thaiday back on the international scene after a 3-year absence, and Darren Lockyer, his 47th appearance for his country.
I must say, Eddie, I've been impressed with the Kiwis' defence, but it's the manner of which they're doing it. You know, there's a couple gets to the man that's carrying the football, they're holding him up, and then a third and fourth man are coming in and hitting with a big shot. right into the rib cage.
Now it's the big men trying to get New Zealand out of trouble. Jeff Lima plays the ball there, and Isaac Luke. Those two were named in the starting lineup. They've come off the bench tonight. There he is, Isaac Luke once again. That was O'Hire. This is Marshall. And it's now the Australians' turn to show their wares in defence. Pritchard going down under that, the fourth tackle. Here's Adam Blair.
It's going to be a very good kick and chase here. They've got to try to turn the Australians around.
Last one. Back it comes to Nathan Feen with the kick. Oh, Perrott coming forward, but not for long.
Boy, there's some cruel tackling going on out there. Both sides will be feeling it.
Billy Slater. And a little bit of a nightmare, remember, in the World Cup final, through that loose pass inside, and the Kiwis scored from it.
Well,
he was named that week as the 2008 International Player of the Year.
He's that type of player, isn't he? You know, if he's really on song, then I can assure you that his side will really zing.
That's flicked up nicely for Thurston. Nathan Feen gets to him, though. It just bounced off the head of a New Zealand defender. So the tackle count is not wiped clear. Here is Lockyer. Now it's with Inglis. Inglis fires the pass wide. Oh! He slips, does Brett Morris, and loses the ball forward.
Golden opportunity.
A golden opportunity on your test debut for your country. Was begging here.
It was a perfect pass, and then he just lost it. Did he slip, or has he got too short of studs? This is the ricochet. Thurston gleefully took it. Got backing numbers again. But they were caught out wide down on this right-hand side or left as the Australians attack. He shakes his head.
Okay, mate.
He knows he could have put Australia on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. Not much panic on the face of Tim Sheens. He's been there, done that. He's been around for a while. He knows that there's still a long way to go, but he's still got to sort a few things out.
Well, he's been named Coach of the Year 3 times, 1984 with Penrith, 1990 at Canberra, and 2005 with the West Tigers. 21 years between the first and the last time he was named Coach of the Year in the NRL. He's not got a bad track record. He looks very calm at the moment. I'm sure he's anxious that after all that pressure and all those penalties, Australia have not breached the Kiwis' line yet.
Oh, he doesn't get flustered, does Tim Sheens, I can assure you of that. But I'm just wondering psychologically what effect it has on the green and golds, in as much that they've had all that possession and they still have failed to score a try. Should have. Brett Morris should have gone in at the corner. Slipped.
Old teammate of Steve-O's is Tim Sheens. He's weathered better, hasn't he?
He's a lot younger.
There's an admission.
You know, New Zealand have been relatively lucky that Greg Inglis and Jared Hayne haven't had their hands on the ball very much. Inglis had a run earlier, and it took 4 New Zealand players to stop him. 2 of them actually left on the ground as he stood up to play it. When Inglis and Hayne get involved, New Zealand will have to even focus even harder, and I think this will be a test for them here now, because they're struggling, I think, to play at this pace. They put so much into the opening quarter.
You don't need to be a genius to realise that this game is being played at breakneck pace. Compared to last night, it's like a couple of Rolls Royces out there against a couple of old bangers last night. It's a totally different game, and England will be watching this and they'll know the challenge that they have got to face them, and it will be a massive challenge. But I think, as Brian Carney said in the build-up to this, England will watch this and it will just simply lift them, because they'll know the size of the task they've got ahead of them.
And I think they knew that even before they took on France last night. They realised that these two are, without doubt, the best two in the competition on past records. And I must say I've been very impressed with the way that the Kiwis have handled it. They've taken control in the forwards, and I think it's surprised Australia.
What surprised me was that the Kiwis came over here and were regarded by the bookmakers as no-hopers. They don't look like no-hopers so far. Here's Adam Blair.
And he's a man that Australia have to watch, because it's a very creative loose forward, Blair.
This is Benji Marshall. Fires the pass. That was knocked down, I think, by the
Back to 6.
Australian. It is. It's back to 6. Lance O'Hire gets it away. Here is Steve Matai. First test try against Tonga last week.
This one's a first, coming up.
It's O'Hire again. Good run from him. He battled his way past a couple. He was looking for a penalty there that was not forthcoming from Steve Ganson. It's the big man, Jeff Lima. Missed the World Cup. Jeff Lima played in the Anzac Test.
Keep your eye on Nathan Feen. He'll be the distributor, surely.
It's Isaac Luke. Isaac Luke just couldn't get the ball away. Quick play the ball, though. Helped on. And here's a chance here for Harrison. Harrison gets it away. Oh,
It's a
Harrison's
knock-on.
dropped it. It's a knock-on.
Golden opportunity. Looked as though he was going to go swinging away back in the Australians' favour, but this will be head and feed to the black and whites, and the Kiwis apply that pressure. And for the first time in this game, you can see that the Australian defence is a bit bedraggled there. They're not coming up as a unit. You don't normally see that. And even Thurston was out of position. Should have taken it. He knows he should have taken it.
New Zealand get big men passing the ball to big men, Eddie, when they're close to Australia's try line, and that's difficult for the Kangaroos to cope with. It led to the first try. Nice short pass from Blair, and it's created all sorts of confusion and panic and hassle and bustle there. Australia had to work hard on their own line.
And they're going to have to work hard on their own line here. That was Nathan Feen. This is Lance O'Hire. Here is the danger man for them. Benji Marshall escaped one clutch. He's lost the ball. Billy Slater. Great tackle by the Australian fullback, Billy Slater.
Certainly was, ball and all, took him over and then just rolled him.
Well, he was the World Cup's top try scorer, Billy Slater, with 7 in the tournament. Stephen Kearney will be annoyed that they surrendered the possession there on the first tackle. That was a tremendous tackle from Billy Slater.
You know, Eddie, they're the sorts of plays that make these players special, because we talk about Billy Slater's ability to score tries, ability to support down the middle of the ruck, catch a high ball, do something special, but we lose sight sometimes of the fact that these guys can actually defend. He picked Benji Marshall out there, he chased him across field, and he's come up with a really special play, and it's actually relieved some pressure for the Australian team, because they look a little vulnerable to me now. They're the side that looks tired. They haven't been down this end of the field very long, but they weren't able to capitalise the other end of the field. They just look as though they've got some players that are on the back foot a little bit. They're huffing and puffing, and they're looking for that sort of second wind.
Do you think they're frustrated? Do you think the fact that they've had so much pressure and they've not got anything out of it, that they're just getting a little bit frustrated? What a pass! What a ball from Cameron Smith! This is English, he's got Thurston with him. English is taking them on! English then gives it to the winger Morris, and he gets in for his first try in the green and gold. The referee hasn't given it yet. He wants the grounding checking. That's all he can check. The pass from Cameron Smith was outstanding. He can't look to see whether that's forward. He wants to see whether this is grounded properly.
No problem whatsoever. It surprised me that Ganson even had to qualify this, because he was in a good position. Well, he bombed the opportunity a few moments ago, but he wasn't going to say, I'm going to miss this one.
Don't think there's any doubt. Brett Morris, who has not played State of Origin but gets his first cap here tonight, has now got his first try for the Green and Golds. The 23-year-old from the St George Illawarra Dragons gets a try on his debut and puts Australia back on the map. They were trailing 6-0, it's now 6-4.
Well, this is what Australia can do to anybody, and when they go deep from within their own half, they're not frightened to do something different. Beautiful pass on the inside, and then Cameron Smith gets it away. Not the best, but it was sufficient. Back on the inside, look at that. Superb. English, look at the size of this centre. Calm, cool and collected, commits the fullback, Lance O'Hire, and he offers it to the winger. Wonderful stuff. How's this for being calm and full of control? He put himself in a good position. Good work by Brett Morris. But the final pass...
How about the pass from Cameron Smith?
Unbelievable.
A magical pass.
He's world class.
15th consecutive appearance for the Kangaroos. This is his 15th cap for them. Just watch this. Look at this now.
He's going down, and he just operates. But the position from Greg Inglis, the centre, just nice and steady. Positioned it well, and the ability of the Australians, which we've seen it so many times, that they're not frightened to unleash an attacking position from deep within their own half.
And again, the linking of two Melbourne Storm players, Steve-O. Cameron Smith to Greg Inglis.
Yeah, I was going to make that point. The old 1-2 from the Melbourne Storm there, and then Inglis had the presence of mind just to wait and delay, and Morris was in the right place at the right time. Thurston then with this kick to level the scores here at the Twickenham Stoop, and it's not a bad kick either. 6-all. Terry.
You know, the Kiwis are always going to start strong, but you've got to really admire this Australian side. They've been sending players in, they've been sacrificing their own teammates, they've been getting whacked, but what do? They stick at what they're doing best. They just keep on going, keep targeting the same area, then come up with fantastic plays like that.
You know, it's worth pointing out that the try scorer, Brett Morris, started the season for Shellharbour Dragons. That's the second team of an NRL side. He wasn't actually picked for the first few games, but what a fantastic year he's had. Great to score there on his debut.
The Shellharbour Dragons. You'll know it well, Phil.
Well, I just think what we need to point out is that players there and the progress, the improvement over the course of a season is the thing that impresses me. A player at 23 years of age, willing to work hard and improve week in, week out.
Oh, Sam Thaiday. And it was a big hit once again from Maria Hargreaves. Penalty. Steve Matai holding them down in the tackle, and Benji Marshall now will be given an official warning after this by the referee.
He just comes in, holds down.
Well, he certainly went in late, and I think they've been lucky to get away with it. I thought after that initial warning that he may have gone to the pocket, gone for a sin bin, 10 minutes. But it just shows you that at this level, you come up with an error. Remember the tackle by Billy Slater on Benji Marshall, only on the second play of the ball, and it allowed Australia to get into a good position. It was a fine try, though.
I'm reminded by Ian Proctor, the man who knows everything about rugby league, that the real reason why Brett Morris was playing for the Shellharbour club in Australia was that he had a couple of internationals ahead of him, Wendell Saylor and Jason Nightingale. And, well, off he went. And now, as Phil so rightly says, all the hard work has paid dividends. He scored in his first match for the Kangaroos. That's a great tackle. They're not out of this, the Kiwis, don't worry about that. That's Soliola, by the way, wearing 16 tonight. We will be enjoying him in the Super League next year with St Helens. The ball is kept alive. Cameron Smith once again. Here's Billy Slater. Slater teasing with them in the defensive line. Then just pops the pass up.
They're a lot more relaxed in attack now, Australia.
Well, they've found the way to the line.
Yeah, they've got over the hump, haven't they? Oh, well played. Ricocheted off the foot of the post.
Important that the Kiwis got to that first, and they did in the shape of Soliola.
Wasn't he quick there? Nice kick, intended, right into the padding on the post there.
There are a lot of people, Eddie, in Australia who think that the most dangerous runner of the ball is Jared Haynes, standing on the right wing for Australia. But unfortunately, his chances to touch the ball have been severely limited.
Stolen in the tackle. The winger Bryson Goodwin lost that, but the referee deems it's stolen.
Yeah, there were fingertips there.
Cameron Smith.
Yeah, he's a sly little hooker. Couldn't convince Steve Ganson otherwise, though. This is a real relieving penalty for the Kiwis. And they know, Steve Kearney, their coach, will get it out and say, look, we cannot afford to be coughing up possession like we did when Slater tackled Benji Marshall early in the tackle count. We've still got to make sure they get good field position.
Junior Sau will play the ball here to Isaac Luke, and he will find Jeff Lima. Luke scoots into dummy half once again. One tackle missed, two tackle missed. And that ball comes free because he tried to offload it, is the way Steve Ganson saw that. And there's a right Shamozzle in back play. They're all running in.
Well, Isaac Luke, I think, started it. I'm not so sure who's going to finish it.
Well, Steve Ganson, the referee, hopefully.
Okay.
Well, it looked innocuous to the tackle, and then it was just
New Zealand over there.
maybe went over the top. Was a swinging arm here? Yes, there is. Oh, yeah, that wasn't good at all.
Paul Gallen with the swinging arm.
There was a little bit of a head slam too after it, if you watch.
Yeah, Gallen comes through, and
we'll sort it out.
Not surprising, he missed and lost control of it. And then he did a little bit of a facial on Isaac Luke, who, not surprisingly, didn't like it.
We're behind that line.
Well, Gallen should be given 10 minutes in the sin bin as far as I'm concerned.
Sam Friday, Australia.
And that's not what you want from a sub. Come on the field of play. Tim Sheens won't be impressed with that at all.
Okay.
Just had a commotion after that. No single player.
Okay. Have we got anything different?
Touch judge got that absolutely spot on. Utter commotion.
Yeah. With Paul Gallen. Okay. Right. Sam Friday, please. Sam Friday with the captain. And number 9 from New Zealand.
Sam Friday wanted, and the hooker Isaac Luke wanted. And both captains summoned as well.
What's the other number? Number 9. It's being taped up. Okay. Come here, lads. Right. Hang on, mate. Time's off. Okay. Listen. We've had a good game, haven't we, up to now? Right, it's a test match. Appreciate that. You two are the captains. Can I leave this with you two, or do you want me to take any further action about it? Okay, right, okay. Can we deal with it?
Yeah.
We can deal with it. Right, I want Paul, you two can go. I want Paul Gallen. Who threw the first punch, did we say, number 9? Okay, so penalty. Paul, don't come running in, mate. The penalty's going to you anyway, okay? Okay.
Don't come running in. I think they've got that slightly wrong.
Okay, here we are.
Yeah, well, the mere fact that Gallen missed, the intention was there. Watch this. The mere fact that he went over the top, and I'm afraid they have got this wrong.
There's no issue. There's no issue. We checked. It's all fine.
Well, nothing's gone on report. Nobody is sweating on the disciplinary.
Happy with all that, yeah?
The referee's tried to diffuse it all. There's no further action officially, but I just wonder whether the disciplinary powers that be will look at it all. Well, brave man now takes it up, first receiver.
Yeah, who's going to put the hand up?
Jonathan Thurston? No, I didn't think so. Sivan Asiva.
Oh, they're fired up now. It's bubbling. Will it boil over? We'll have to wait and see. Steve Ganson, the skipper, close eye on this.
Big hit, the ball went backwards though.
Fantastic hit.
Off Gallen.
Well, the Kiwis who were celebrating, they thought it was a knock-on. It went back. Ganson got it spot on.
But it's Isaac Luke and Paul Gallen who are looking for each other. They nearly found each other in the last one. There's a high shot from Benji Marshall. Look left of frame, look. Another thump from Isaac Luke.
Silly play.
There's the swinging arm from Benji Marshall.
And Justin Hodges would have felt that as well.
Fiery, isn't it? Fiery match. Second game of the Gillette Four Nations.
Yeah, but you don't expect that from your skipper. You know, you've just been given a telling off by the official. And the captain should have been going around and saying, hey, come on, we can play tough, but we don't have to give away silly penalties. Well, that's 40 metres downfield.
Exactly right,
suffer.
Exactly right, Steve. It's very clumsy. It's clumsy play because when Hodges was going across field, he's an easy target anyway. The tackle could so easily be made a lot technically better than that, but I'm sure a player will tell you he doesn't do it on purpose, but it is just clumsy, and it's cost him a lot of field position.
And it means that the Australians have the chance to score just before half-time if they possibly can. This is Justin Hodges. And Trent Waterhouse is the man at dummy half. He will give it to Thurston. It's Hannant. Another heavy collision on Hannant from his opposite number, Lima. Now it's Thurston again. Here is Darren Lockyer. Short ball there to the loose forward that is Anthony Watmoe.
We haven't seen a high kick yet, but they're going short. That'll be the turnover. Well, it's surprising.
Saying that ball was not played at by the Kiwi defender. I think it was.
Yeah, I think you're right. Billy Slater was trying to convince. Oh, look at the wide
forward pass. They're back for a forward pass. Ball from the touch judge out wide. Bryson Goodwin thought he was on his way. More pressure on Stephen Kearney's defensive line coming up.
Yep.
He's right, the touch judge is right.
Absolutely spot on, but it'll be a warning, you know, for Tim Sheens and the Australians, because they were caught very tight on that sliding defence.
Eddie, if this is the best Australian backline for the last 100 years, this is a perfect position. Less than 2 minutes on the clock, scrum 10 metres out. You're going to see some pace here, and the pressure really is now on the New Zealand backs to defend this first play.
Okay, head in. Mate, let him have his head, or we have a penalty. In. Okay, get it in.
Let him have his head or as a penalty. That was an invitation to the Australians to con one out of the official, but none forthcoming, none needed. Inglis gets the ball away to Morris, and he's stopped somehow.
Tremendous inside pass, wasn't it?
And Morris is flat out.
Yeah, went down awkward on the shoulder. But the quality and class of the inside ball from Greg Inglis. Little wonder that everyone's claiming that he's the best centre in the world. So big and strong, got plenty of pace. Ooh, was that a high shot as well? It was a trailer, wasn't it?
I think Steve Ganson has asked the video referee Ian Smith to have a look to check whether there's anything in that. I think that Morris was falling, wasn't he?
Yeah, Lance O'Hire was coming across. The arm was low. Look at that pass. Sensational stuff.
Okay, first.
So Brett Morris has now recovered, and Greg Inglis has gone into dummy half. Tim Sheens is on his way down, and here is Jonathan Thurston, who finds Paul Gallen. That ball has come loose. It's picked up by Ben Hannant.
Move! Hold, mate. Isaac Cole.
Pretty dangerous times now.
Cameron Smith.
Well, that was a forward anyway. That'll be classified as there's no real advantage. He'd put the scrum down, surely. Oh no, he said play on. Well, that's a shoulder. That was forward there. That was poor play.
It was a knock on, wasn't it?
Yep. But it was going forwards, the ball. As soon as it left his hands. Not the best from Sivan Asiva.
Last minute of the first half, 6-all.
Surrender! Stand up!
It's been a battle royal, hasn't it? Boy, there's been some big hits. Great to watch.
Marshall to Matai.
You know, New Zealand have done well. They've only broken the line once and they've turned it into 6 points. Australia have made several breaks but still only have that one try on the board, so I think they'll be happy, Stephen Kearney, to get in, speak to the Kiwis, reinforce what they've done well, point out how they can improve.
Benji Marshall looking for a big game, the New Zealand skipper.
That's the quality of him. He's got a wonderful step off both feet as well.
Nathan Feen will drill that ball into touch, and that could be the end of this first half. Neither side really in any hurry to pack down this scrum. Although the Aussies have moved in quickly now, they maybe fancy kick and chase, perhaps.
Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? Isaac Luke actually started to pack in the Australian pack.
Lock in.
He may have got a little bit of a knock in the build-up to that. He put his arms around the two Australian props, wanted to join them. Oh, this could be dangerous.
Lockyer gets the ball wide. Here's Inglis again. He's not tackled. He's still not. He is now. And there's the half-time silence. There is an Australian and a Kiwi on the floor. The New Zealander looks in worse shape than the man in green and gold. Well, what a great first half. If you like it brutal, if you like it rough, you like it tough, and you like it skillful, you've hit the right button tonight. This second match in the Gillette Four Nations, it's had it all. It's had some sensational skill, it's had some fantastic speed, it's had some biff, it's had some barge, and we've got it 6-all. Well, we have rugby from the Union Code next Saturday. New Zealand against Australia again, this time in the Bledisloe Cup. It's an 8:30 a.m. start, and it's on Sky Sports Extra. We've got Australia, New Zealand in the Four Nations Rugby League tournament here, and it's 6 apiece at half-time. The Australians fighting back after the New Zealanders took the lead in the 6th minute through Nuasala's try, improved by Goodwin. And Tim Sheens, it's his birthday in this coming week, and he would be looking for an improvement in the second half. Having said that, well, it has been a rip-roaring first 40 minutes, hasn't it? It really has. And these two sides, all right, the New Zealanders coming into this match on the back of a warm-up game against the Tongans, but the Australians coming in cold. Boy, the pace of it has been frenetic, and the challenges have been unbelievable. And some of the passing, some of the skills, joy to watch. And Stephen Kearney, World Cup winning coach, he had Wayne Bennett alongside him in Brisbane in November, and his reputation growing by the minute, it seems. Tremendous effort from his team in that first half, particularly defending their own line. I think we worked out there were about 3 or 4 consecutive sets of 6 coming at the New Zealand line, and they managed to hold them out. Incredible effort, Steve-O.
Certainly has, and it's been rough and it's tough. We expected it, but they didn't expect it, the Australian fans and the Australian players, that this pass from Blair, they got the penalty when they were a little bit too hard on Moi Moi, but look at the pass there from the loose forward. And Noah Salah goes in, 6 minutes, they take a 6-0 lead. It took a while for the Australians to get into the swing of things. They really should have scored here. Inglis, the pass out to Brett Morris, to Deviton, and he just slipped, lost control of it. And it took a little bit longer there, but what's the inevitable pass? Okay, the Australians got away with it. It was reefed away, and Cameron Smith, beautiful stuff. Inglis, surely he's the best player in the world. Look at the size of him. Calm, cool and collected, commits the full back, and Morris doesn't make any mistake on that. Tremendous first 40 minutes from both sides.
Yeah, fantastic first 40 minutes, and really from the 6th minute when the New Zealanders went ahead, I don't know whether it's my imagination, Sean, but they seem to have been on the back foot ever since, defending their line. But apart from the one break that the breach that the Australians have forced, they defended magnificently.
Well, it's been a brutal game, really, Eddie, in terms of defence. I think Australia have defended extremely well also. I think they had a bit of a lapse there when the try was scored. I think Cameron Smith actually just misread a play, didn't quite get in position. But after that, there's been very few line breaks from the New Zealand side. New Zealand, in fact, I think they've only had 11 or 12 sets, which is not enough. So what it indicates is that they've worked very, very hard defensively. They're absolutely hell-bent on coming off their line that quick. They don't care what's in front of them. They're just going to hit anything that's in front of them. And they've done it so well that they've actually rattled the Australian side. And the cohesion with the Australian side is not quite there. The Jonathan Thurston, Darren Lockyer combination is not quite as what we'd expect for guys that have played together for a number of years in International Rugby League. Cameron Smith's been well taken care of in most cases. A brilliant pass to Greg Inglis.
Wasn't it?
In what could have easily, the referee, Steve Ganson, could easily have said penalty for a steal. So that opportunity may not have presented itself. But they just seem to have lacked a little bit here. There's a brains trust getting together there.
I was just about to point you in the direction of the monitor and say, there they are, the brains. What do you think, Sean, the England players, the French players will be watching this at home? I mean, what are they thinking right now?
Well, the first thing they'd be looking, I think you'd be looking and saying, well, it's pretty quick, but it's also quick with some brutal defence, and we're going to have to find a way to break that down, because they're looking at what the Australian side will probably do when they get better, and their cohesion will be better, and their timing comes into play. I mean, keep in mind as well, Eddie, this is the first game of a tournament. You really want to be playing at your absolute best in the final, but you have to make the final, and that's the pressure that's on these sides. See, we expect Australia to be in the final. Some people don't expect New Zealand to be. You know, and I don't know whether they will be or not. I don't know who's going to get there, but there is pressure every game because you want to be at the final, but you want to be at your optimum performance there. The thing is, you have to play well enough in the early exchanges to be able to qualify and get there.
It's just like the Super League season, isn't it? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And England will take heart from that, I'm sure, tonight. But the challenge from these two is going to be enormous for both England and France.
They've shown enough here tonight to suggest, if you compare the two games, it's chalk and cheese. But I think you would have expected that anyway. You would expect these sides here are playing at breakneck pace. That's what you expect in the NRL. And they do play at an intensity, and they can sustain it, because we were waiting for a drop-off. We haven't had that drop-off yet. I think we will have it sometime in the second half. But, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if the scoreline stays. Yeah. Won't stay 6-6. I'm sure there's more points in this game, but it wouldn't surprise me if it stays tight, because these sides just haven't quite got it yet with the football, but defensively, they're both very strong.
Look, we're obviously looking ahead to next weekend when England will play Australia. And from an England point of view, is this tournament designed for them? Because they had Australia first up. They're getting into the swing of it, please God. You know, they had France first, right? Should they have played one of these first, or do you think the gradual build-up is better?
I think what they've got is good. They played Wales on a friendly. It was good for most of their players. They went to France. It was another rung on the ladder. They're going to step up again. But it's almost like playing pre-season games, if you like. And then, that opposition we should beat. We'd like to beat that opposition, but we know we're going to have to be better. That's what England will be looking at for next week. The staff are here tonight watching the game. They'll cut and dissect. They'll do all sorts of things, and they'll come up with a game plan that they believe can beat Australia next week. And what they've seen so far is they know they're going to have to play at a faster pace, and they're going to have to defend a lot better than what they did in last night's game.
Outstanding first half from the world champions. No, it's not Australia, it's New Zealand if you're new to rugby league. The New Zealanders are the world champions, and the Australians, well, they've got them at 6 apiece at half-time. It's level pegging here at the Twickenham Stoop. Tremendous game, tremendous first 40 minutes. Can they keep this pressure up? Can they keep this fitness level up? We're about to find out, aren't we? Well, the Four Nations is underway, and our next live appointment with you is France against New Zealand. That's being played in Toulouse next Saturday night. It's a 5 o'clock start, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. We will also have extended highlights from 7 after that game is finished of the affair in the north of England. England against Australia, 7 o'clock Sky Sports 2. And next Sunday, it's the Euro Nations. It's Scotland-Lebanon at 3 o'clock. That's live on Sky Sports 3, followed by Wales-Ireland at 5 in the same place. And some special news for you. As you probably are aware, the Pacific Cup is taking place down under, and one of those 4 nations will be qualifying to play in the Four Nations 2010. The Cook Islands, Fiji, Papua New Guinea and Tonga. We have the Pacific Cup, 10 o'clock Friday, Sky Sports Extra. Jonathan Thurston and Benji Marshall, 2 of the stars that we're watching here tonight. They're often built up as superstars. A lot of people in the media often are accused of overhyping them. Well, dear me, what we've seen in the first 40 minutes here tonight has been outstanding, to say the least. And we're underway in the second half. Lockyer is underneath it. Here is Ben Hannant. There's the first challenge of this second half, and quite a hit from Soliola. I'm sure St Helens supporters are licking their lips at the thought that Soliola will be lining up in the white with the red V next year.
He's a big outfit, that is for sure. Well, of the 2 coaches, you'd have to say that Tim Sheens would be quite happy. Okay, the scores are locked up at half-time, but missed tackles from New Zealand, and they came mostly late in that first half. 10, Australia only 4. Australia had 23 sets in that first 40, and the offloads also going to Australia 10-2. So he'll be pretty confident, will Tim Sheens. Stephen Kearney, on the other hand, he's got to make sure that they keep their defence pretty solid. They've had to work hard.
High kick. No one's interested. Billy Slater gets to it. It's flicked back.
Wow.
Australia have it again. It's flicked out of the back door there by Jared Hayne. And Steve Matai to the rescue for New Zealand.
Hold, go.
Well, I just walked past Tony Smith and Steve McNamara, coaching staff from the England side, and they are so impressed with these 2 sides. They're really looking forward to next week's game, but they're kind of hoping that the brutal defence continues for the next 40 minutes, I can assure you.
Well, it's bound to take something out of them, these 2, this intensity. And, well, we'll see, because England will have to raise their game. There is no question of that.
It was played at an intensity, high intensity, but you see the onlooking coaches. There were a high number of stoppages, Eddie, in that first half, particularly the penalty count, which meant that the player did stop. It was a long 40-minute period.
And New Zealand just slightly losing their way here. This is Benji Marshall, but he kick-start their challenge here. There's Soliola again. Goes down on the last tackle. Giant of a man, and it's now with Marshall again. Off the outside of the boot, down the touchline. Billy Slater not interested in that. So the Kiwis will hunt any mistake from the Australians at the scrum.
Pretty comfortable there, just to kick into the corner, just trying to ease the pressure. And the way that they're defended, especially in the opening 20 minutes, New Zealand will be pretty confident they might force the error. There's been some big hits out there. Benji Marshall.
Fascinating that he's up against his club coach.
Certainly is, and of course Tim Sheens knows all about him, but
Jonathan, come on.
You just don't really know what he's going to come out with next. I mean, it could be the step, could be the little chip over the top. He's capable of beating Australia all on his own.
Go.
The Kiwis hunting that mistake that we were talking about. Adam Blair in very, very quickly. There was no way forward then for Trent Waterhouse. Here is Hannant again. It's cruel, this defence from both sides. Brutal, I think, is the word that Sean McRae used during half-time. Both sides really are getting stuck in this, their opening match of the Gillette Four Nations.
Not surprising, we've seen the tactics from the Australians, just using brute force to take them right up, all the way up. Get to the halfway line, good kick and chase. Not a bad kick from Cameron Smith either.
Great kick, and Billy Slater was onside, but that's good. Whoa! He's pinched it, Thurston. He's pinched a try. And the referee will have a look at this.
Well, how many people have been involved in the tackle? I know at the same time, at the point of impact, Thurston was the only man, but do you count the previous attempts as tacklers?
No, it's 1-1.
No, because they've already broken that tackle. I believe the rule is because that tackle's been broken, this try will be allowed.
Definitely.
Yes, he's broken it. It's not that they've fallen away.
He pushes away Lockyer and goes into open space, and Jonathan Thurston has pinched the lead for Australia.
It's
Quick
a
thinking.
real pinch.
Yeah, and this will be the confirmation.
Try is given. Try for Jonathan Thurston, try for Australia, and close to the post as well. Lance O'Hire, the two-try hero of the World Cup final last year, must feel like his pocket has been picked by this man. The Cowboys didn't make the playoffs, but this is the NRL's scrum half of the year, Jonathan Thurston. This is the reason why.
Well, you would have thought the kick from Cameron Smith, it looked as though it was going to be covered. Eddie, you mentioned that he had his pocket picked. It was in the hands, really, and he should have had a little bit, but that was quick thinking. You've got to credit the Australians. They don't go to sleep. They're always aware.
So Thurston with the try. Thurston now to try and add the extra two. First blood, second half to the Aussies. And Thurston, 11 metres out. This should be academic for a kicker of this quality, and it is. Barry's down there.
It's almost as if a lack of concentration has just caught the Kiwis cold here. All their emphasis has been when they've been on the other end of the pitch, and there's no doubt in my mind that the Kiwis have challenged each other to put as many shots on as they can. Unfortunately, Thurston just nicked that ball away. Will that get the Aussies back into that patient mentality?
Well, Jonathan Thurston just took the ball like taking candy off a baby. And the Australians are now ahead by 12 points to 6.
Well, we often talk about the physical strength that the Australians bring to our game, but let's not forget the mental strength as well. They are always thinking the opportunity. There's no fluke. Thurston knew that it was a pretty lax carry from the full-back.
Good hit. Good hit that was by Soliola. Oh, I can hear the cheers from St Helens here. Cameron Smith. Plays the ball quickly then to Justin Hodges.
We talk about the quality in this Australian three-quarter line, but it's the forwards that are setting the pattern.
The kick from Lockyer downfield, not the best, not a good kick that. Now here comes O'Hire again. He'll carry the ball a little more securely, I think, this time. He does, as he goes down under the challenge of Waterhouse.
Surrender!
Got to be careful, Australia, don't give away a silly penalty. That's good, quick play the ball.
And this is Bryson Goodwin. He's doing well. Eventually they get him down. Penalty.
Well, that just shows you second effort from the winger, Bryson Goodwin. He could easily have gone to ground, and then they just messed around him. A bit of an elbow in the face. Spotted by Steve Ganson.
12,360 here, the biggest rugby league crowd at this ground that they've ever had. And I remember we were here one night during the World Club Challenge of 1997 against Canberra. The place was packed to the rafters that night, but it's been extended. I must say, a magnificent new stand away to our right-hand side that the Harlequins have built. And the biggest crowd in rugby league history on this ground, and being treated to a spectacular game. Here is Fui Moi Moi.
Well, he's a guy that can really make the impact. We really had a lot of trouble, the Australian defence, trying to stop him.
Isaac Luke, Nathan Feen, space here. for Lance Ohio. They're running it wide, and that was quick. And that was a great attack from Junior Sau, halted by the tackle from Brett Morris. This is Nathan Fien again. He's away from Hannant. He puts the short pass in. That is Jeff Lima. And Lima is, well, wrestled to the ground eventually by 3 defenders. That's tackle number 4. Isaac Luke is waiting for the Kiwis. Has a little scamper forward. Nathan Fien. Good ball. And that's touched. That's touched by an Australian. 6 to go. 6 to go for the Kiwis. A hand snaked out there. Big challenge here on the Australian line. Driving in is Junior Sau. Underneath the post on the first tackle. Isaac Luke is looking left and right, and he'll come this way. He'll find Nathan Fien. He goes on the inside, and Fui Moi puts it down.
They had the opportunity, no advantage. The referee, Steve Ganson, will bring it through. But we said it was going to be a handful. It was a planned move, but they certainly had the numbers there. Back on the inside, come to Daddy.
Australia had been saved previously in that set with some brilliant defensive work by Inglis and Morris. They both just congratulated one another to deny the try. You saw a great attack from New Zealand, shifting it to their right wing. But ultimately, the defensive communication, speed and commitment from Australia prevented New Zealand from going over in the right.
Well, the referee's having the devil's own job for the prop forwards here, getting their heads in at this scrum. And he's already said, unless they get their heads in, that was in the first half, he's going to penalise them.
That's a very rare run with the ball for Jared Hayne. I think he only had 2 touches in the first half. If there's anything Tim Sheens would like, it's somehow to get Hayne more involved in possession.
This is Ryan Hoffman, who plays the ball to Smith, and this is Hannant, who was cleaned out. Fui Moi was in there pretty quickly. Australia trying to move the ball around now, and here again is Waterhouse. Down he goes eventually, thundered to the ground by Lima. Cameron Smith.
And again, it's good solid work from the forwards. They'll go a kick and chase here.
Smith shaping to kick, now he does, it's high. It's high. Oh, he's lost it, Ohio. That's a knock on. He's offside actually, isn't he, the Kiwi? He came from an offside position, Adam Blair.
No, he's always offside, mate.
Well, it was a high kick, and really there was a lot of confusion. Ohio and Perrett, obviously no communication. Now, did this ball go behind?
Okay.
No, it's classified as a knock-on anyway from the fullback. Lance Ohio gets a knock-on. The mere fact that it hit Jonathan Thurston, that was a knock-on, so it was a play-on, but eventually it was classified as being offside.
So penalty to Australia, and they're going to take the 2 on offer here.
Not surprisingly, Tim Sheens, he analyses the game exceptionally well, knows it's in a pretty good position to stretch the lead slightly.
And it will mean that the New Zealanders have to score twice, of course. Just increase the advantage to 8 points. Jonathan Thurston. 50 goals for Australia before tonight. He's got 2 so far. 2 out of 2, so this one for the hat-trick and for an 8-point lead. Jonathan Thurston. 26 years of age, this fella, by the way. He's winning his 13th cap tonight. Quality all over the park. Thurston makes no mistake. The Australians 6-0 down after 6, 14 unanswered points since.
It makes it easy when you go to an 8-point lead, but Stephen Kearney, the Kiwi coach, will be very disappointed with the confusion. It was a high kick, Awaya the full back and the winger Sam Perrett. There was no communication between the two, and at this level you just can't afford to do that.
Supporters seem to be in the mood for a party tonight, don't they?
Not many Aussies turn the party down, Eddie, you know that, and especially when their team is in the front. Still a long way to go though.
I actually think there's been a terrific atmosphere here tonight. I think both sides have been well supported. The game's been well supported, and I'll tell you what, both these sides have put on a terrific display. No matter who wins, there's plenty of time left, 30 minutes left in the game, and it's still very much open. Australia, of course, have the advantage now of an 8-point lead, but you know, you would never write a New Zealand side off. They need to surely get a bit more possession and put a bit of pressure on that Australia defence, which we saw just a couple of minutes ago, how dangerous that can be.
Absolutely. The ball security in these tackles as well, though, it's been outstanding, hasn't it? Oh, here we go. Almost through was Greg Inglis.
You can feel the crowd lift as soon as it gets the ball. The big centre, Greg Inglis, is absolutely superb. It's a neat kick. A little bit too strong. Yeah.
Just a bit too much. I wonder if he was actually aiming for the post then. And the scars of battle on the face of Inglis. Let's go down to Bill. I think there's more injury news, Bill.
Yeah, well, a battle of attrition like this was bound to claim some casualties, and it's claimed a couple of Kiwis by the look of things. Bronson Harrison, while that penalty was being lined up, was being carried to the dressing room. Looks like a leg injury for him. And Jeff Lima has also hobbled off and clutching his left knee. So the Kiwis just suddenly beginning to feel the pace of this, I think.
They're in possession here with Isaac Luke. He's going right down the middle, and he gets the ball away somehow. Matai, though, can't make any progress forward. Big challenge by Hannant and Smith. O'Hire at dummy half. It goes back to Benji Marshall. He then finds Nathan Feen. Nathan Feen, short ball, good hands. And good hands again out wide. The kick forward is fumbled by Thurston, is kicked over the top by Thurston. Sam Perrett's little ding through, causing a few problems. Stephen Kearney.
Beautiful play, though, by the Kiwis. Just caught the defence out wide, and Perrett did right. Knew that the cover was coming across. It was good work, wasn't it, by the loose forward Anthony Watmoe. But the hero of the moment in the second half, Jonathan Thurston, just fumbled it, got the boot away.
Stephen Kearney watching on, and you might have recognised the face next to him, Tony Iro, formerly with Wigan all those years ago. Working in the New Zealand camp for this Four Nations. Cameron Smith's dropout, good length to the halfway. O'Hire is underneath it, and this will be trundled back in once again here by Nua Sala, who was the try scorer for the Kiwis.
The one thing you got to admire about the New Zealanders tonight as well, when the forwards have been taking it through, they've been looking to try to twist in the tackle. They're always looking to offload.
Hold, go.
Isaac Luke, Feen and Marshall. Marshall pops the ball up then to Frank Pritchard. Penalty.
It's got to be a penalty. And Pritchard really worked that. And Pritchard's having a little word to Steve Ganson and saying, how about putting your hand in the pocket? Professional foul is claiming. Here's the big fella.
They're taking it quickly. Fui Moi Moi on the drive. Right underneath the sticks are New Zealand. Isaac Luke fires the pass. Nathan Feen. Here's Benji Marshall. He pops the ball up then. Good little run coming in from Junior Sa'u. Junior Sa'u's over the line. He's touchdown, I think. He has. Tremendous stride from Junior Sa'u. Legs just kept on pumping then. The Kiwis on their feet now. It's they who are celebrating. What a try from Junior Sa'u. He's kept the likes of Soliola on the bench here tonight, and Christian Inu out of the side. Junior Sa'u, and he's just shown you why. The man from the Newcastle Knights. He got a try last week against Tonga. He's got his second try in as many matches for the world champions from New Zealand.
The pressure finally told. Big fella went close, and you can see the penalty. He worked hard to get this, did Pritchard, and from it, good position. They're always interested in keeping the ball alive and look back on the inside. That is tremendous. Get out of the way. Just bumped him. This is superb stuff. Back on the inside. Boom. Spin. Ah, oh, great stuff. Good position by the official, Steve Ganson, as well.
So Junior Sa'u, the man from the Newcastle Knights, ever present for them this year. He scored 6 tries for them in the NRL. And Isaac Luke is on the field now, and he takes the goal-kicking responsibility. And this to get the Kiwis back to within 2.
I can't hear what you're saying at all, Smith.
Isaac Luke lining this kick up. Very important kick. Get them back to within 2 points. Oh! He's hit the post. Terry!
What about the mental strength of this Kiwi side? They really have turned it around. You would have thought that the Australians went ahead. Would the Kiwis crack? No, they wouldn't. Frank Pritchard
Chad, run really hard into that collision. And when you run hard in there, you're going to either offload the ball or something's going to come off. The penalty come off, and then South scored that try. Tremendous play by the Kiwis.
Stephen Kearney, his men are now back within 4 points. Could have been 2, but it isn't. Australia just with their noses in front. But what a contest.
But what a wonderful effort by the centre, you know. He just really went... The big fella, Paul Gallen, went low to try to tackle him, and he just bumped him off as though he was a little halfback. Game on.
Very much so. Here he is. Hannon met him, and Hannon eventually, with help from Sivanasiva, gets him down. The New Zealanders have upped the ante. They have suddenly pressed the gas. Luke.
And the one thing you've got to be impressed with from both sides, Eddie, it is the fitness levels. The pace of this game has been outstanding.
And they can only get fitter as this tournament continues. Lance O'Hire with the chip down the outside. Tremendous kick. Billy Slater picks it up. The referee shouts that the Kiwis are all onside. Wonderful chase. Perrott and O'Hire, but then they mess it all up and they give away a penalty on the Australian line almost.
You know, it's when the adrenaline kicks in. You know you've got a good kick, you've got there and defend, and then you just go over the top. Just can't prevent yourself. Pumping through the blood.
Didn't see too much wrong in that to me. I don't know, maybe I'm seeing it obviously through a different pair of glasses than Steve Ganson.
Well, Ganson thought that the tackle was completed, and then they just tried to turn him over.
19 penalties, Australia have had 11. And given the fact that the Australians are ahead on the penalty count as well, and they were overwhelmingly at one stage, I think they got 6 on the bounce in the first half. This has been an outstanding effort, hasn't it, from the Kiwis?
Certainly has, and what great respect that the Australians are offering as well to the New Zealand. It is as much that they're not trying to do anything fancy, Australia. They're just getting through their hard work, getting into good position, but they're getting battered at the moment. Soliola again putting his body on the line.
It's as if the Kiwis have said, you think we're third favourites? Have a look at this. But here come Australia. Untidy pass, finds its target eventually. That's Jared Hayne. He gives it to Slater.
Fitness, swarming, both sides. Defence is unbelievable. It's going to take something brilliant, exceptional to get through it.
That was the big man Paul Gallen, that was Jonathan Thurston. This is Darren Lockyer, most capped Australian player of all time now. Does Montevideo ending up on a losing side here in this Four Nations opener for the Kangaroos?
Great work by Sam Perrott there. It looked as though he was going to be pushed back into the in-goal area. It was a beautiful kick.
It's now Australia's turn to just try and force the error with some big hits.
They need composure, the green and golds. They've got to make sure that they just do not give away a penalty. They're keen, they're looking at the official, they're saying, we're back with you, sir, we're back with you.
And this is probably one of the best part of Australia's game. We talk about defending your own try line, but Australia are very miserly when they have sides coming off their own try line. They're generally well disciplined. They make a kick from around about the 30-metre mark, and they hopefully gain some sort of advantage. But New Zealand, however, don't mind throwing the ball around, and that's a terrific play.
It is. A kick on the fly.
Oh, just a touch too long.
A bit too long, you're right.
You know what? I'd be happy with that as a coach. I know people are talking about maybe changing the rule, but I'd be happy with that because
that's only us, Sean. Don't worry.
Well, I can understand that. I can understand why people want to change it, but that ball went through 3 sets of hands before the kick came. You've gained plenty of metre, so they took the risk. They had a look, and you know, rather than kick straight out of the hands from the first receiver, and when he was under pressure, it's a really good play.
I'm with you, Sean, because it was so much skill involved in that.
So an opportunity now for Australia. It's Justin Hodges, but look at this defence from the New Zealanders. Cameron Smith, Thurston. Pops the pass up and...
he's had a wow of a game, this man, going into dummy half. Cameron Smith has controlled things out there. The forwards know what he's going to do. Is he going to kick? And that's a great kick as well.
Oh, it is.
Unbelievable.
Great bounce it got from Thurston's boot. It found touch just a metre or so the right side of the corner post.
Just apply the pressure. get the percentage right, and that certainly was good. Nothing that Ohio could do about it.
Just talking about Cameron Smith, it almost became the fashion in many in Australia and over here, Eddie, to play the game with two hookers, and it almost seemed like after 20 minutes or 30 minutes you had to bring the first hooker off and put your second one on. Australia, with Cameron Smith, are perhaps rewriting the rules again. Here's a man who can play that position for 80 minutes and played at the highest level, involving the kicking players, the passing players, and in fact very often doing so much quality in defence.
You're absolutely right, Phil, and I think I'm right in saying at the 60-minute mark,
Go on, Sean.
I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that we haven't seen Kurt Gidley in the game. Now that's again something else unusual, but he can play that role. He can come on and play a bit of fullback. He can play at 7 or 6, but I'm sure he hasn't been introduced yet, and he can make quite an impact.
Well, you know the quality, Sean, of Tim Sheens, who've been involved with him for many, many years down under. I must say that he's a man that won't panic.
Great run from Soliola.
That's play on, went backwards.
And Big Sam has got it. Sam Thaiday.
Well, I was just going to make the point that Australia don't take the risk. They know that they've got that 4-point lead, so they don't need to. But then you see a different complexion from the Kiwis.
English.
Look at that strength.
He's a man mountain.
Yeah. That should be a penalty.
Hold, go.
Here's Smith. And then it's Brett White.
Keep your eye on Lockyer. He'll control it now. Look how far he stands out.
Drive forward by the loose forward Anthony Watmoe to within about 5-6 metres of the New Zealand posts. Smith goes away from...
Did he drop that? He did. Knock on. Well spotted by the official, Steve Ganson. And that is a big relief for the Kiwis. Just completely lost it. Anthony Watmoe. Sorry, Phil, he's had a good season with Manly, and I don't think the Tim Sheens will be too happy with that. He's an experienced player.
So the scrum will form. The last time against Australia in England for New Zealand, the 2005 Tri Nations final. They won 24 points to 0.
That was an incredible night, wasn't it?
It was.
And it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Only 4 points in it, and even though when they were both setting that scrum, they were not really interested in getting there quick. Not surprisingly, it's taken it out of everybody.
Luluai gets them going again. Fui Moi Moi. Luluai once more. Oh, he wasn't expecting that. Was Nuasala, and that's a gift to the Australians.
He thought he was a dummy runner, but at this level, you do not think that you're just a decoy.
Here's
You've got to keep your eye on the ball at all time.
Watmoe's seen a little gap and has gone for it. Just a slight indication here that maybe the New Zealanders are tiring. Cameron Smith, Thurston on the charge comes Brett White. Smith again will wait at dummy half. Thurston changes the direction of the attack. Lockyer was there, but he gives it instead to Kurt Gidley, who is just on now. You must have read Tim Sheens' mind, Sean. The fullback Billy Slater's the dummy half this time. Here is the big man. It's Paul Gallen. Now it's with Hodges. Hodges almost crawling over the line. There's Gallen once again. Here is Thurston. Finds Lockyer this time. Doing a great job on him though, the Kiwis. Big tackle that was by Soliola. Thurston kicks it in goal, and they'll take that over the dead ball line, goal line dropout. They're examining this defence, aren't they, the Australians?
Certainly are, and the composure is showing now for the green and golds. They're just taking it in their stride. They realise they're in a good position. It was a beautiful little chip from Jonathan Thurston. You can see that the ball had a little bit of backspin on it. Go back there in numbers. It was very good work by Junior Sa'u.
I think Australia have a great opportunity now. You're just starting to see signs of fatigue, some turnovers from the New Zealand side, some players starting to come up and in, some players starting to miss tackles around that marker. They've done so well to hang on here, and at 14-10, of course, you know you're still very much in the game, but you just get a feeling that if Australia were to score another try, that it might just be hard for the New Zealanders to come back. But I always say that with a bit of trepidation, because they've done it so many times before.
Well, he'll be going through the minds, Eddie, is that, remember, the Australians, they took quite a commanding lead in the World Cup and sort of just relaxed slightly, and the Kiwis made them pay.
Here's Kurt Gidley. He's the younger brother of Matt at St Helens. Smith, Lockyer. Lockyer just pops it up then for Hodges. Oh, what a hit. Adam Blair, he's taking no prisoners tonight. Thurston. Watmo, Thurston. Back he comes, Slater. Slater to Thaiday, and Thaiday going for it. Backing himself, held up just short. This defence has been magnificent from both sides. Really has. Thurston. Little chip over the top. Well claimed, Brendan Marshall.
Put his body on the line, and again Thurston, he's orchestrating things out there, building in confidence. But how on earth is this Kiwi defence going to hang on for the remaining minutes?
I think they'd give anything here, Eddie, to buy a penalty. The last two occasions they've had possession in the half, which was quite some time ago, great tackle there by Blair. They came up with errors before they even got to the halfway line. They just can't get out of their own half. And I suppose that's the relentless pressure that Australia putting them under.
Steve Matai will try and get them over halfway, but he's about 15 metres shy of that on the last tackle here. And so the kick from Isaac Luke is not the best. It's straight into the arms of Jared Hayne.
Haven't seen much of him. It's really the first time that they've kicked towards the winger Hayne. But again, it'll be safety first from the Australians. They'll just get the big forward trundling through. They're not rushing, they're pacing themselves.
Jared Hayne, sorry, Steve.
I'm just saying it's a confidence that they just show to each other.
Jared Hayne is the NRL's Player of the Year. And here is Cameron Smith. There he is. He played for Australia 2007, Fiji in the World Cup last year. Couldn't get in this side then. Now here he is back in the green and gold. And Cameron Smith waits again at dummy half. Thurston. Ball on the inside, finds Brett White. 5 tackles gone. It's been punishing some of these tackles. Thurston, they look to slide the ball to the in goal area. Lance Ohio comes away. An important tackle. He's cut down, but and a second effort on the deck. It was Kurt Gidley.
Well, again, applying the pressure, leading that charge is Jonathan Thurston, but the fullback Ohio he's had a fine game as well.
Not seen too much of that in the NRL this year. Is that because they've got the 2 referees down under?
Yeah,
are they chancing their arm tonight, both teams?
Yeah, but down under, they know that there's going to be someone that'll get pinned from it. And it's up to the coaches as well. They say, you know, it's silly to give away a penalty. That Tim Sheens won't be happy with that. That Kurt Gidley has given away 30 metres downfield.
Waria Hargreaves, Jared Waria Hargreaves from Manly on his debut, number 17. Isaac Luke, fooey, moi moi. Luke is looking both ways. Fiend to Marshall, good ball, Matai. Steve Matai gets the pass back on the inside, and this is Goodwin. He goes down under the challenge. That number 6 is not Darren Lockyer, it's Paul Gallen. This number 6 is Marshall, and that is Nuasala. Now then, they have to get a good kick in here, don't they?
Maybe some height.
Nathan Fiend gives it some. There's a New Zealander out there who's onside, and he's claimed it. He gets the ball, he gets it rid of, and it's a knock-on by the Aussies.
Oh, sheer panic there, and simply head and feed to the black and whites. And it is. Well, the Kiwi contingent down here in London, they're screaming for it.
Perrott did ever so well.
He certainly did. Brett Morris didn't want to take the gamble.
Was there a knock-on by Luluai?
Well, Luluai put the kick in. Did he get a fingertip to it? Either way, the answer, as you can see, is pressure for the green and gold. Now then, will they use a set pattern?
Even the greatest players in the world, like Greg Inglis, they buckle under a little bit of pressure.
Well, you'd like to see Benji Marshall given the ball here with some time and space.
But it's with Ohio at the moment. Marshall is with him. Lance Ohio will score for New Zealand! That will level it up! And there's a kick to come. We've got 11 minutes left for play. And the Pats in the the world champion he is, repeating his heroics in the grand final in Brisbane, the World Cup final in Brisbane last year. And he has come up with a try that levels the scores, kick to come, and a 2-point gap for the Kiwis.
It certainly did. It came about by allowing Sam Perrott to get a good kick from it. And then when it's Thomas Luluai put through, Inglis came up with a knock-on. And how about this for testing your arm? He took the dummy, Billy Slater, committed himself too early. Lashes out the right arm, but he knows it's too late. Oh, tremendous stuff. He's had a big game, this fella, in defence, and he has come up trumps at a final moment. How's this for pressure?
Indeed so. Bryson Goodwin has taken over the role from Isaac Luke. Bryson Goodwin, he has kicked it. He's kicked the New Zealanders into a 2-point lead. Terry!
Nana stays it, pick him up. Lance Ohio, too much footwork. He takes on the big guys and scores the try for New Zealand.
Well, they believe that perhaps this game is now theirs.
And Stephen Kearney, the New Zealand coach, has to get the message out. You cannot just sit on this. You still have to be a little bit more adventurous. Don't do anything too risky, but try to catch the Australians, who have been so patient. But they're now having to test their arm. When they get the possession, they're going to have to sling it out wide. The link from Darren Lockyer and Jonathan Thurston to the three quarters has not been so prominent tonight, but it will from here on in.
What an upset, or is it an upset? This lot are the World Club champions, the World Champions rather, not the World Club, the World Champions. They're playing like the World Club champions though, aren't they? They are together under Stephen Kearney. There is no doubt whatsoever. Well,
and we mentioned it, Eddie, they thought it was a slight on the fact that they are the world champions before they went into this game, and yet the bookies were saying, oh, the Aussies will win easy.
No, it's a test now, not to try and win the game individually. We've just seen a lot of individual efforts there by the Australians. You have to do it collectively if you want to win the match.
Goes down, there's Sam Thaiday.
Oh, he's called.
A penalty to Australia, called held, Steve Ganson.
Well, testing your arm, trying to get on with the game quickly. He slips. That's completed. Boy went over the top, and Tidy continued on. Much to the chagrin of Steve Ganson, who blew the whistle. They won't be rushing this. What on earth will be going through his mind?
Well, Tim Sheens, he led them to victory in the Anzac Test. He's facing defeat here. There's no doubt about it. The Kiwis have lost the fear factor when they play Australia. And, well, why shouldn't they? They're the world champions, as we've been saying all night. Last time we saw them here on Sky Sports, of course, it was in Brisbane 11 months ago, and they won the World Cup. And tonight, well, they're in the driving seat at the moment as far as the Four Nations is concerned.
It's all about position as far as they're concerned now, the Kiwis. Just control it. That's good play from dummy half.
Tremendous run from Isaac Luke, and a great offload as well. Here's Fui, goes down under the challenge from Thurston. It's the third tackle here. This is Nathan Feen. Here's Benji Marshall. Danger for Australia. Lovely ball. Steve Matai.
Great tackle there from Paul Gallen.
Marshall again. Nathan Feen tacking them up the middle. Gives it to Lance Ohio. Dances in front of a couple. Gets the ball away. And it's the big man, Junior Sau. Last one for New Zealand. Can they get another set of 6? Can they get a 4-pointer? Kick to the in-goal area. Work to do here. They're going to get a set of 6, are they? Are they? They are, you know, because there was no way forward for Jared Haynes. It's a goal line dropout.
Sheer power. The Kiwi fans are going absolutely ballistic.
That's a brilliant kick under pressure, Eddie. Got to remember there, he had to keep the ball in the in-goal area. I know it's complemented with effort and defence, but under pressure in the last 5 or 6 minutes in the match, you need to keep your opponents at this end of the field, and New Zealand have the kicking skills to do that.
This means, of course, if it stays like this, New Zealand, that suddenly they are on the front foot as far as this Four Nations tournament is concerned.
Hold, go.
Having said that, England will be top of the table on points difference the way it stands at the moment.
Hold.
There's a positive. Here is Isaac Luke.
And add to it that Australia will be at the bottom.
No, they won't. The French will stay on points difference.
Sorry.
They'll be joint bottom.
Yeah, that'll do.
Hold, go.
But they will come to Wigan next week wounded. Nathan Feen, Benji Marshall, space for him. Great ball, and there's a chance here for Pritchard. Pritchard will score, will he? Yes, he will. The ball is in his hand, and Pritchard has scored for the New Zealanders. The world champions have come up off the canvas, and they are celebrating what could easily be a famous win. Frank Pritchard facing Australia for a 9th time. He's only won one of the previous 8, and Frank Pritchard's try could easily have secured the victory, because if this kick sails over, it would be very difficult for Australia to come back from this.
I made the point, Eddie, that when they first took the lead, they had to have the composure, but not just shut up the shop. They had to keep playing open style, and this is classic. A long pass out wide. Marshall says, come. Dummy runners through. Pritchard, get out of the way. Unbelievable. Fantastic stuff. When Thurston opened the try scoring after the restart to make it 12-6 to Australia, I think everybody thought they may run away with it. It's doom and gloom for the green and gold. They're forcing a smile. He doesn't have to force it. He pumps. It looks like victory is there, but this is a very difficult kick, an important one too.
It is. It's Bryson Goodwin with it. It is 20 points to 14 as we speak. If this sails over, it'll be difficult for Australia. And he has missed it. Terry.
Well, Eddie, just looking at the Aussies and absolutely shell-shocked. There's one word that stands New Zealand up. They've been relentless today. Defence, attack. They've had so much movement. Pritchard going over in the corner. There were so many options that they can choose from. But this Australian side will be really hurting. But you've got to credit the way New Zealand are playing. And look at the fans.
Yeah, they're having a great time. They're noisy. That's been flicked back. Here comes Thurston. Listen, let's put another English spin on it. A draw would be fantastic for England. Here comes Anthony Watmough.
What a tremendous tackle there by the loose forward Adam Player. They had the numbers out wide, and the loose forward Watmough just couldn't release it.
Sivanasiva to his feet, Cameron Smith. Thurston, back it comes to Lockyer. Lockyer then gets it away, and this is Trent Waterhouse.
He did well to keep hold of that under a lot of pressure. Adam Player yet again.
They've conceded a penalty, New Zealand. And they
Quick
get on
tap.
with it quickly. Sivanasiva drives the ball in for the Aussies.
They know important now that they've got to go somewhere near and score near the post. They can't afford to take a risk out wide.
Gidley. He'll play the ball to Cameron Smith. Back it comes to Thurston. Thurston pops it up to Hannant. And Hannant will try and trundle it over the line, but New Zealand again now, defending for all they're worth. Waria Hargreaves with the tackle. Here's Cameron Smith, goes the other way. Oh, it's loose on the bounce. It's picked up though, and it is Inglis. It's Greg Inglis. He gets it away. Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith scored for Australia. Have they snatched a draw from the jaws of defeat? Cameron Smith, only his 3rd try for his country, but it is a try that gives the Australians the chance of at least a point. He has been magnificent tonight as Cameron Smith, absolutely magnificent, the Melbourne Storm captain, and he's come up with perhaps the try with the kick to come that will level this match.
Tremendous, and they paid it, didn't they, the price, and that is that New Zealand allowed Australia to get the ball from the kick-off. And as you say, Eddie, Cameron Smith has been superb, but the power of English. Come and follow me, and that's it. He's just like an extra prop forward, this fella. Bang, get out of the way. Anyone there to support? Yeah, my name is Smith, but I've got Cameron in front of it.
Outstanding match this. We have only had 2 draws in 115 previous meetings between these two. And Jonathan Thurston here now, impeccable with the boot. Can he make it 4 from 4? Can he wrap the scores up? Yes, he can! 20 points apiece, Barry!
Eddie, that was right in front of me. I'm looking into the eyes of the Australians. They are not prepared to let this game go. A bit of footwork, a bit of power, a bit of determination, some skill, and Cameron Smith gets the Aussies back into this game.
Well, the Australians were sitting with their hands underneath them not long ago. We're in the last minute and it's 20 apiece.
So
Well,
do you try to win the game here, or
goal.
do you take a drop? Well, will Benji Marshall go for a short kick-off and try to get the ball back?
No.
No, so they're going to try now to force an error. Australia probably can't win this game unless they decide to run the play. I'm not sure either side's got the energy to do that. But if they turn the ball over, I'll guarantee you New Zealand, first play, will try to pop a field goal.
Well, we have 20 seconds remaining. The ball comes free through the legs, and Lockyer picks it up just about. 10 seconds remaining. Counting down to only the 3rd draw in history between these two. Here comes Jared Hayne. The kick in the air. This is the last play. Flick back and out. It's all over. It's 20 points apiece. Stephen Kearney must think that he has lost the game. Never mind drawn it. Australia coming back off the canvas. What a match. The Four Nations is alive.
Well, this has just been an outstanding game of rugby league. I think a draw is probably an appropriate scoreline. I think 20 all, both sides, very, very hard to split them. Either side, both sides have had opportunities to win this game, but their defence has been pretty good generally. There was a fall away in that last 20 minutes or so in terms of the intensity of the game, but what a game of rugby league. What a great advertisement for our coach.
Fantastic game, a truly fantastic game. And from an English point of view, the result is like manna from heaven. 20 apiece.